Hey everybody, welcome to the Enchanted Oak Farm. We are making country white bread today. This is Grandma Tibbals' recipe. It's about 100 years old, believe it or not. Right now what you're seeing is me bringing up the milk, butter, sugar, and coconut oil to 120 degrees. You can't let it get any hotter than that. If you do bring it up to boiling, you're going to have to let it cool back down to at least 120 degrees. Otherwise, you will kill your active yeast. All right, so I'm really zeroing in on this thermometer, but it looks like it's done. There's 2.5 cups of milk there and about a half a stick of butter. So there's my 120-degree liquids. The recipe will be in the description box below. So right now I'm using a flat beater with my KitchenAid mixer. This is a bigger KitchenAid mixer. I like how powerful this one is. I have an older one. It's actually almost 40 years old. Still works, but it's smaller and just doesn't have the same output like this one does. I'm really, really pleased with this one. So, yep, now I'm going to add 2 whole eggs, medium. If you're going to use small eggs, then do 3. And you'll see I crack 1 egg at a time and put it into a bowl and then add it. And the reason for that is you never know, you might get a shell in there, or it might be an icky egg. So I always I never ever crack an egg directly into the bowl. So once I get that all incorporated, and the yeast, the dry yeast, was in the bowl with a teaspoon of salt and about 2.5 cups of bread flour. All right, so now I'm going to start adding about 1 cup of bread flour at a time. By the time all is said and done, there's probably a good 6 to 8 cups of bread flour. Now I know that seems like a wide variation, but I go more by consistency, okay? So I do 1 cup at a time, then I speed up my flat beater, get it all incorporated well. Now I'm putting once it starts to pull away and stick to the flat beater, then I take that beater off, put my dough hook on, and I'm adding about 4 more cups of flour. So yeah, it's probably closer to 8 cups of flour total. And this is the last amount of flour I will add. I'll put my mixer on low and let that get incorporated. And it's pretty fast, guys. This will be done in about, oh gosh, less than 5 minutes, the total kneading. Look at that. It's just magic. And honestly, there's nothing better than homemade bread. I don't like serving or eating bread from the store unless I'm going to the co-op, which is a Whole Foods type of market, because you just don't know what they're using in their dough. They could be using sawdust. Seriously. So I make bread every single weekend. And 2 loaves, 2 big loaves will last us all week, and that's for 3 people. So you can see it's just about done kneading with this is a dough hook. And I'm removing the hook, getting the excess dough off the hook. Now we're going to take this dough and it will now go into a greased or oil-lined bowl. So I just added some olive oil to this bowl, about 2 tablespoons, and I roll it around and get the sides lubed for the dough so that the dough does not stick to it. There's nothing better than your good clean hands, better than a scraper. And now I'm rolling that dough ball around to cover it completely in oil so there'll be no sticking to the bowl. That's done. Now I will cover it with a flour sack. And I'm lucky to have an oven that proofs bread. So I have preheated my oven on the proof temperature. See, it says it right there, PRF. It's 7:11 in the morning, my favorite
Just
numbers.
showing you one of our
Oh, look at that. That's a very large farm-raised chicken that is in a brine that we're going to have tomorrow. Okay, the first proofing is done. Took about an hour. As you can see, it more than doubled in size. And now we're going to punch that dough down. That was the first proofing. Now I'll take it out and I'm going to put it on my floured granite top. And we're going to do our second kneading. We're just incorporating a little bit of flour into that. Not a lot of kneading is done here. You can feel it when it feels like a soft little baby's behind. You're good. I am using a rapid rise yeast, and that's why my yeast was added to the flour dry prior to adding the liquids. Now it's going to sit here and rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. While that's happening, I buttered my pans and floured them evenly. Alrighty. This next clip, I'm going to cut this dough in half and portion it out into 2 loaves. And I always end up with one loaf bigger than the other. This is where your scale would come in handy. I should be weighing it, but I'm not. Come on, it's country rustic bread. Who cares if one loaf is bigger than the other? And they still pretty much bake close. They really do, because they're not that much bigger than each other. Here's one. And now they're in the oven to proof for the second time. And that'll probably take another hour. Wait till you see how big these loaves are. Food is gonna be good. All right, now it's time to do the first baking. So I'm gonna zero out my oven. Let's see, this oven is really accurate. So I put it up to 375 for 15 minutes, and that's going to get the good browned crust on the bread. Now I've done the 15 minutes. I'm back. I'm putting it at 340, which in normal ovens 350 would work. Again, this oven seems kind of hot to me, or maybe it just works better than others. But I put it in at 350 for 20 minutes. It is done. Now I'm going to take my bread out of the oven. How's that? Yum. Yum, yum, yum. All right, there they are. We'll be having those with dinner tonight.